And then all of this week, we've been bringing you the findings from our This Morning Cosmetic Cowboys campaign, looking into the dangers of unregulated non-surgical treatments.
We surveyed 2,000 women as part of our exclusive research, and today we can reveal some of the most shocking findings yet. We found that less than a quarter of people don't know what's in the injectables they're having administered, and that nearly half of cosmetic procedures happen in non-clinical settings.
Well, yesterday, we put our findings to the Health Secretary, Wes Streeting, who had this to say.
It's really shocking. Because of the lack of regulation, we've basically got cosmetic cowboys that are basically, I would not even use the word treating women, they are practising on women and causing serious catastrophic damage.
Well, our next guests are advocating for the government to bring in much stricter laws.
We're speaking now to Dane Knight, whose partner Alice tragically passed away following a Brazilian bum lift. He's here alongside best friends Kelly Crees and Julie, who were left fighting for their lives following the procedure, and Ashton Collins from the Save Face Register. Good morning to you all.
Good morning.
Hi, Dane.
Hello.
Hi. I met you last year. Ben was off. Can you tell me a little bit about the procedure that Alice had? I know you didn't even know about it.
No, I didn't know she was getting the procedure done. Obviously, when we had the phone call, I didn't know what the issue was from the hospital. It was just more kind of just get there and, then kind of find out the current situation. But, prior to that, going back off the information, because we talk about a lot, about the procedures, as far as we was concerned, the information that was available at that date, at that time, it was deemed as safe, which is now, I'm now learned that it's not. It's the back then and even now, people have, who have been misled or lied to, saying that these procedures are safe, and they're not if being carried out by the wrong people.
So Alice, as far as you were concerned, was just going for a day out.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you get a phone call saying you need to get down here because something's gone desperately wrong. As you've said, you now understand a little bit more about it. Alice didn't understand that there are the dangers involved in this.
Alice didn't, and also many others. Around that time, even just typed in that procedure on Google at that time, it was deemed as safe.
Had you heard of it? Had she talked to you about the fact she thought that maybe this might be
it was discussed, it was looked into. And kind of, as far as I'm concerned, the bum, the breast area and the lipo one was all the kind of the question mark ones, even though the research done online and whatever information given off people, it was it said it was safe, but now and all the information that I now have, it's not.
Alice had you've got five
very beautiful children,
beautiful daughters. If she'd have known the risks, if she'd have known and that information had been out there...
No way, Kat, she wouldn't have. No chance. No chance.
Well, we actually told Wes Streeting about your story yesterday, and he had this to say after he told him. Have a look.
Thank you.
In the coming days and weeks, we're going to be setting out the regulations. Over the next week or so, you should hear from the government on what we're doing to clamp down on cosmetic cowboys here at home. When it comes to overseas, it's more complicated, but I am working with the team across government and also with other governments around the world to help try and clamp down on this, and we'll keep you posted. But the other thing I just wanted to say, I mean, just hearing Dane speaking there and the thought of 5 children being left behind because they've lost their mother in these circumstances, that motivates me to act. And I hope that for people watching as well, it's just that really the worst possible reminder.
So hearing the Health Secretary acknowledge what you've been through and understanding that that's motivating him, he's telling us that we're going to find out in a few days exactly what the government has planned.
OK.
How do you feel about that?
From his words, that's comforting to know that they are taking this, from his words, seriously. I hope that they're going to follow through with this and, actually actions speak louder than words in the nicest, respectful way.
And that's what we want to see. We want to see action.
Yeah, we want to see action. I know there's a lot of hoops and loops, they need to go through, but, something needs to be put in place sooner rather than later before this happens to another family.
Kelly and Julie, it was a similar procedure that the two of you ended up experiencing, and unfortunately you're here to tell us about it now, but it nearly couldn't have been like that.
Yeah.
How did you find out about them, Kelly?
We went on to Instagram. They had a post on there for a BBL, non-surgical BBL. It was a good price. They had celebrities on there that had had it done. So obviously straight away you think celebrities going there, they've got to be the best, or, you know, they're reputable. Went and had the procedure done. I'm not allowed to mention who it was with, but I can say who did it, which was a gentleman called Ricky Sawyer. And within 48 hours of having the procedure done, I fell terribly poorly and ended up in hospital with sepsis. Yeah, it was a bit kind of touch and go at that point.
Can you talk us through what happened there? Because I think the two of you were together while you were being injected.
Yeah, we went together, that's correct.
And you were in the room?
We weren't in the room when they were injecting.
No.
They wouldn't allow us to be in the room together.
OK.
Because they didn't want any filming or photographs, obviously.
Yeah.
Which we thought just...
And what was the procedure actually like?
When I had the procedure done of the BBL, I fainted 3 times when I was having the procedure done.
3 times?
Because he was trying to do it with me standing up, which now, obviously finding out afterwards, that's not the way you do the procedure. And when you have the lidocaine put in, obviously, to numb you, straight away you're going to be a bit dizzy, or it affects people very differently. Right. So he was trying to get me to stand up to have it done and continued to do it.
So, Kelly, you fainted once. Was that not enough of a warning to say, right, I think we should stop? This is something's not quite right here.
He, at that point, he was explaining to me that sometimes the lidocaine, this is what happens, so you just need to give it a moment and it'll be fine. And then he was like, have you eaten? And I was like, yeah, I've eaten, it's fine. Are you sure you've eaten? Yeah, to try and push that I may have gone for this procedure and haven't eaten. It was like my blood sugar had dropped or something like that. And then at that point I was thinking, well, maybe it is, maybe I haven't eaten enough, or I haven't had enough sugar today, or anything like that.
But you wanted the procedure so much that even though you fainted 3 times, you were still, you still didn't go, do you know what, maybe I should leave it here?
Yeah, no, at that point I thought it was still safe, I'll still go ahead with it.
Julie, were there any red flags for you?
It was similar, really, to Kelly. He was very boastful when you got in, so he liked to tell you how many procedures he was doing that day. He was back-to-back.
And the celebrities and things like that.
Yeah, all about the celebrities, how many he's doing per week. But it's difficult when you go... I mean, we're in our 40s, but when you go with your friends, you're kind of all excitable. Even though you're grown women, you're still almost like children when you get together, and we're getting all giddy and having it done, and it's advertised as no downtime.
Right.
You know, so you literally go in looking one way. You go in looking one way.
Which is one of the things everybody always says. If it sounds too good to be true...
It probably is.
It probably is. When did it start going wrong for you, Julie?
Mine was about, I'd say about 3 days. I just started to feel a little bit unwell, a little bit feverish. And at the site, it was getting really red, and sort of matter was coming out of it, like seeping out. So
We've actually got... This is a little bit of a warning, because we've actually got some footage of the wound and actually what was seeping out of it. Just beware, this is, if you're squeamish, do turn away, but this is a sort of a sign of how infected your wound got. And this happened multiple times to you, didn't it?
Yeah, so I think this clip just shows one little puncture hole with it coming out, but that would heal, and then my skin would open up in a different site and start seeping out again. Then that would heal, and then another little hole would appear somewhere else.
You must have been so frightened.
Yeah, it was really scary, and you just get blocked the minute you make contact with them to ask for help, or, you know, my doctor wanted to know what I was injected with, and I was just...
And they weren't interested in helping you out?
No, they just blocked me.
Blocked us straight away. Yeah, not interested.
Yeah, so it's scary because you don't know what's... At that point then, the fear sets in and you're thinking, oh, my goodness, what's in there? You just have no idea, and they just don't give you any information. So you're just kind of hoping for the best, getting antibiotics from your doctors.
Yeah.
I mean, mine did then clear up. I didn't go on to get sepsis like Kelly, so I'm just really grateful for that. But
So you're very ill, both very ill. Unfortunately, you're here today to talk about it. But there was other procedures as well, Kelly. I think you had filler injected into your breasts.
I had the 2 lots. So I had the BBL done on 2 days prior, and then back 2 days after, I went back and had my breasts done, and then it was 48 hours after that then it kicked in. So I think.
Did you? Is that a normal procedure, having filler injected into the breasts?
It was quite a new one that they were doing. But it was supposed to be a lot better than having implants.
Sure.
Because obviously it dissolves, and within 6 months you haven't got that lasting kind of it being in the silicone.
And what was the reaction to the filler being injected?
That was what caused the sepsis, I think. Yeah. The BBL would, to be honest, I don't know. It could have been a kind of mixture of both, of what they're putting in, yeah.
How do you feel about the risks that you both took to have these procedures now?
I would never now, with everything that's come out now, obviously this is 2 years prior, I would never have gone through that procedure at all. It's just, you're blinded by Instagram sometimes, by celebrities having it done, all things like that. You're absolutely blinded.
We didn't really know then what we know now.
No.
Because it was relatively new, wasn't it? So it was this new thing, and we were all excited and, you know, getting a little bit older and deciding we want to look a little bit younger, and this is offering it to us, you know, no downtime. We can just nip out to Essex, go in, get it done. No one's even going to know. I'm not even going to tell anyone.
And that's one of the dangers, Ashton, isn't it? That people actually don't realise just how risky this is.
Yeah, it's being promoted on social media as being a risk-free, cheaper alternative to the surgical counterpart. There's no downtime, and it's being sold as this dream. And actually, in reality, it's an absolute nightmare. We've supported over 750 women who have had very similar experiences to Julie and Kelly. Over 50% of these women have ended up in hospital with sepsis. Over 40% have needed extensive corrective surgery. They've been left unable to walk, unable to work, unable to lead any semblance of a normal life, all because of how these procedures are being promoted online.
So what does Save Face, which is your campaign charity, what are they trying to do with regards to BBLs particularly? Because obviously the tragedy for Dane and his beautiful daughters is that Alice isn't here because of a procedure that she thought she could have really quickly.
Yeah, and in our view, Alice's death should never have been allowed to happen. We warned the government in 2023 that this was a crisis waiting to happen. We said without action, lives would be lost. And we are just hopeful that they will do something before anybody else has to pay the ultimate sacrifice at the hands of these unscrupulous people.
What would you like to see the government do?
So we're calling for a restriction, so these procedures can only be carried out by registered plastic surgeons in CQC-regulated environments, because even then, in the most skilled of hands, the risks are still really high. But they can manage those as much as possible, and most importantly, they can deal with potential complications, whereas the practitioners that are doing them on the high streets, they are lay people with no medical experience. They're often buying cheap and unlicensed products, importing them from abroad, and they're doing them in really unsuitable settings.
We've seen in Scotland they're going to try and bring in better regulation and better policing of that regulation. Is that something you'd like to see down here in England and Wales as well, or how do you think that's going to go?
Yeah, we'd like to see, you know, first and foremost, the highest risk procedures like these being dealt with and being taken off the high street so that they can only be performed by registered plastic surgeons, because more lives will be lost without that crucial piece of legislation.
And if anybody is sitting at home watching and thinking maybe I might do this, or they're looking at Instagram, what would be your advice to them, Ashton?
With the liquid BBLs, my advice would be don't do it. Where the risks significantly outweigh the benefits, and they do in this scenario, it is always best to stay clear. It's like you said, where something sounds too good to be true, it generally is. And even if you are lucky enough to escape having a complication, oftentimes the outcomes are disastrous as well in terms of how they look. So it's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
Dane, it's not been that long. We're so sorry for your loss, obviously. How are you and the girls coping?
Girls are going strong. You know, it's a credit to Alice.
Oh.
I know. You know, obviously the damage is still showing. Yeah, and it's ongoing. You know, especially with the ongoing police investigation. So it's never, we can not put it to rest, but kind of get that grief process started, because then it just kicks back up again. So it's just an ongoing nightmare. So it's hard enough becoming just single parent, or then becoming losing someone, but then all these bits together is just unreal.
Overwhelming.
Yes.
But let's hope that even one person's listening and watching today, maybe considering it, will have heard your story, heard the girls, heard from Ashton, and will say it's just not worth the risk.
It's not worth the risk.
Just not worth the risk. We, in response to ITV News' investigation, non-surgical clinic Essex said all of our clients are aware of the risks during a pre-consultation before treatment and agree by signing a consent form. We've completed hundreds of body filler treatments without any complications where proper aftercare has been followed, although they weren't interested in helping you.
No, not at all. And there was no risk
assessment before?
No, there was nothing there.
We did reach out to Ricky Sawyer, who was the practitioner, so-called practitioner, who delivered what happened to you for a right of reply. He didn't respond. We haven't heard from him at all. Thank you all for coming in.
Thank
you for
you.
sharing your
Thank you.
experience.
Yeah.
I mean, it's graphic at times, and it's really, really brutal, but it's hugely important
And
as
the
well.
more information that's out there, the better.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ashton.
Thank you.
Oh, hello.
Thank you.
For visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.